That's really nice.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool, man.
Who was the old man?
Who was it? Is it Osmond?
Yeah, I know.
That would be crazy.
What up, everybody? It's the drums crew.
We are together!
Finally.
Couch.
After weeks, months, however many
Wow.
days and years and
Long time coming.
ages.
And so you know what time it is. We told you it would happen. We told you it would happen like a month ago, but now it's finally
We did,
happened.
Yeah, it's true.
This is the world of Remnant reaction videos. We're going to go through all of them. They're all like little 2-minute bite-sized chunks of lore that will help us understand the world a little bit more. Some we might already have a solid grasp on. Might be a good refresher. I think I'll find it interesting because, to be honest with this show, it's so short, and then we watch it in like spurts at a time, separated by weeks. Sometimes it's easy to forget like the difference between Semblance and aura. You know what I mean? Like, there's different things.
Calling me
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything, Katie. Ooh, I like this piece. I like this.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Statement necklace is what it's called.
It is.
Yeah.
Drip.
He's educated. I'm like,
Nice. hey, we all got the bracelets now. We got the bracelets going on.
oh my god.
The accessories, accessorized.
If we don't have braces, we have fucking eye watches or Apple watches.
Watch out now.
Why
Watch
have a
out.
bracelet?
You're
when
part
we
of
have
this crew
Apple
now,
Watch?
Rana. Apple Watch over here. You tried to hide it. She's like,
Apple Watch.
I can't look right at it.
yeah, like,
It's too bright. It's shining too
so
bright.
much drip.
Yeah, I got a car on my wrist.
I have a Fitbit.
Hey,
Hey,
I'm
Fitbit
happy
works.
with it.
fit that bit.
They all do the same things.
Fit that bit.
Well,
Anyway.
This Fitbit is the only fit thing about me.
Well, I think this watch is perhaps the only fit thing about me, so I empathize. I empathize with that. Yeah.
this is not a substitution jutsu for Ruby. Please support the official release. We're watching it on Rooster Teeth. You can probably find it on YouTube and Crunchyroll as well. Come back,
tried.
like, subscribe, comment, check out our Patreon. We have early access to all of our Ruby episodes in our lowest early access tier.
Aww.
Just for Ruby. Ruby's the only special, super duper special show that we do this for.
Damn.
We also have Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We are on Discord. Join our Discord to talk to us. Twitch is kicking up.
It is. I'm
Watch
watching
her
The Boys there. The Boys are playing games.
That's
Like
right.
The Boys TV show. She's not just watching us on Twitch.
Yeah.
As
It's
well
like-
as Invincible, right?
She does call us.
Yeah.
The boys.
Invincible
She
also
don't.
on Twitch.
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was a fun watch.
Yep.
Without further delay,
We're also on social media that hasn't even been created yet, so just wait for it.
yeah, just wait. The next hot thing, we'll be on it
It'll yeah.
like a bonnet.
Like a bonnet.
Surge has bars.
Surge has bar. One bar.
A single bar, and it lowers and raises.
It's like the most hotly produced single bar of music ever.
That's it. Imagine that.
Last 4 seconds and then it just cuts
Spits
off.
one bar, and then the rest is EDM music.
This one's called Dust.
By definition, it is a naturally occurring energy propellant
Cortana,
that can be
yay.
triggered by the aura of humans and faunas. But in reality, it is much, much more. Found in 4 basic forms, dust can be combined, both artificially and naturally, to form new, stronger types, each with unique properties. Since its discovery, man has concocted a multitude of ways in which to harness the powers of these mysterious crystals. From airships to androids, dust has made its way into practically every facet of technology. Some prefer to use dust in its raw form, elegant yet destructive. Those who choose to wield dust in this state must possess a certain level of discipline to ensure that their resulting powers do not break free from their control.
Okay.
Dust ammunition serves as a more practical application in today's modern society. With the technological advancements in weapon design, warriors need simply choose the right cartridge for the job and pull the trigger. While this has become the standard method of use, it is not uncommon to find individuals still practicing more archaic forms of dust manipulation, such as weaving it into clothing, or even
Ooh.
fusing it directly with their own bodies.
Clothing, huh? Be cool.
Despite working, fighting, and even turning a profit with it, humanity has still yet to understand how dust came to be. And more importantly, how their involvement with dust will ultimately change the world of Remnant.
Okay.
That was so
Does the
sick.
dust have something to do with the moon being fucked?
Maybe some.
Maybe someone manipulated the moon.
Yeah, shot a rocket at the moon full of dust. Blew
Or
it
the
up.
moon
Wow.
is the dust. Is the
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, it rains down for the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And just collects. Yeah, that could be good. I like that.
Someone scooped up a bunch of them or something. Okay, it's starting out. We can discuss in like this 30
That's
seconds.
cool though. Like you can be infusing your body, clothing.
I wonder if our big bad did it to her skin, because she's got that crazy,
Yeah.
like super hyper white, pale skin and like hair and stuff.
Our Cortana. Is
Yeah.
she the one narrating
She's
this?
correct. Yeah, she is. Her voice is just so distinguishing.
Yeah.
The world of Remnant is a dangerous place,
Is the moon?
particularly for man.
Or the moon.
In the countless years that humanity has roamed the planet, civilizations have grown and fallen.
Yeah, I
But
wonder
four
what that many
have
girls
withstood
are
the
like.
test of time. Atlas,
The guardians
Mistral.
of the elements.
Vacuo, Veil.
Ah,
These
okay.
four kingdoms, with the help of natural
Like Ford
barriers
does.
and human tenacity, have proven that they have the will to survive.
And Ford Maidens.
Each kingdom has a
The major
governing
houses.
council to represent the people and their needs. Next comes the military. While most kingdoms only call on its citizens to serve when needed, others find it important to be prepared. There are still those who choose to venture outside the walls of the kingdoms. Roaming nomads and small villages are not uncommon.
That would be me.
Yet neither is their tendency to disappear.
I was gonna say, because the village we just saw in the last episode
Lastly,
got destroyed.
Yeah, like disappearing, so.
Academies. These institutions' sole purpose is to train the next generation of huntsmen. The next generation of defenders that will live and die to protect the lifestyle that they've become so accustomed to. Yes, the world of Remnant is indeed a dangerous place, but the four kingdoms stand as beacons of hope, as safe havens from the darkness that surrounds them. They are the key to mankind's survival, as long as they stand united.
Oh, very grim ending there.
As long as they stand united.
As long as they're still there, it should be okay. So what is it? Atlas?
Mistral,
Mistral,
Veil,
Vacuo.
and
Vacuo.
Vacuo. We haven't seen a couple.
I was gonna say, I don't know if we've seen Vacuo before.
They mentioned it.
Yeah.
No, we just found out about these guys, kind of sort of.
Yeah, but we know a little bit about
The
them.
origin of them, yeah.
A ravenous, destructive force that covers the majority of Remnant. While often referred to simply as grim in the common vernacular, these beings serve as the greatest foe to mankind. For as long as humanity can recall walking the surface of Remnant, so do they remember this wicked force. Many ancient cultures believed the creatures of Grimm to be animals possessed by evil spirits, or perhaps the spirits of tortured animals themselves. However, further study, as well as the discovery of newer, more horrific forms of Grimm, does not support this hypothesis.
Yeah.
With new creatures discovered every day, scientists perpetually find themselves with more questions than answers.
Damn.
While very little is known of their origin, some key facts have been observed in the wild. First
Nevermore.
and foremost, the Grimm exclusively attack humans and their creations. While occasional skirmishes between wildlife and Grimm have occurred, these instances appear to be based on territorial provocations rather than a need for sustenance. In fact,
Marquetta's
the
cat.
common belief is that the Grimm are not obligated to feed. They choose to.
what the
What is
fuck?
Fucking
perhaps even
Titans,
more
man!
unsettling is the
They
basis
choose
of
to.
their attraction. The creatures of Grimm are lured towards negative emotion.
Jesus.
In rare instances when villages are capable of defending against a wave of Grimm, their survival is not guaranteed, as widespread panic will only lead to more attacks.
Yeah.
Little else is
they'll
known
just feed
about
off the
creatures of
negativity.
Grimm. Keeping them in captivity has proven to be an understandably difficult task, as the creatures tend to either die or kill those who imprisoned them in the first place. To further complicate study, The corpse of a Grimm will only remain for a short period of time before completely evaporating. Those who hunt the beasts for sport find this particularly upsetting, but manage to get by with cheap taxidermic recreations and bombastic storytelling. Although the creatures of Grimm appear mindless, more delicate observation has proven contradictory. It has been noted that while younger Grimm tend to be more reckless, older Grimm, who have managed to survive their battles, have the tendency to learn from their experience and will exercise caution in the future. This perverse form of self-preservation allows the creatures to become more effective killers. And in the end, killing is all that matters.
What if the Grimm, like when they disappear, go back to the moon?
They'll just reconvene on the moon
Yeah.
That's fucking
with Steve
terrifying.
Rogers.
What's terrifying is like they go after blood when they don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also like there's
Some
actual
extra
wildlife
info.
outside of this, because I thought they literally killed off everything outside of
Yeah, I
cities.
thought so too. Yeah.
This is really cool. It's really deepening the lore. It's making the world seem more realistic.
It also makes you feel less empathetic for the Grimm because they seem to just be mindless horde
Huntsmen are
monsters.
widely
Yeah.
regarded as the world's greatest warriors. While skilled in a wide variety of weaponry and hand-to-hand combat, these
Zidane.
champions are also masters of a much greater power.
Be a cool poster.
I
Aura
love
is a
minimalistic
manifestation of the soul. A life force that runs through every living creature on Remnant, whether they are a meager shopkeep or a renowned knight. However, what sets true warriors apart from all others is their ability to amplify and control their aura. Aura is primarily used as a defensive mechanism, passively coating the wielder in a protective force field. It can protect a combatant from what would normally be a fatal blow. It does not, however, make the user invincible. As they receive more and more damage, their aura reserve will deplete. If this happens, all a fighter will be left with is his resolve. Fortunately, when a fight turns gruesome, a warrior can also rely on their aura in a different manner.
Whoa.
Semblance is a term used to describe the projection of aura into a more tangible form. For some, this could be the ability to control objects with telekinesis. For others, it could mean superhuman strength. The power associated with a wielder's semblance is completely unique. With enough training and focus, a user's aura can turn them into something much more than just a man.
Ozpin!
But they didn't show it though. They didn't show
He's
it.
not just
But he's
a
more-
man.
More
They
than
teased
just
it.
a man.
If he just turns out to be a dragon, I'm gonna be really, really disappointed. You know, something like that.
No, I thought he's like the creator, like the god or whatever.
One of the
gave
brothers,
out the
maybe?
powers.
One of the brothers?
No,
It
the-
all
the guy
began-
that
that
gave
would be
the
crazy.
maidens their power.
That would be crazy if he's the
maiden
re-embodiment of
The kingdoms of the world
Yeah.
had been locked in a violent struggle for years.
I hope it's something like
But
that.
eventually, the Great War of Remnant came to an end on the small island of Vital. It was here that humanity's leaders chose peace over bloodshed and constructed the future of modern society, establishing new laws, new academies, and new traditions. The Vital Festival was created to serve as a celebration of peace between the kingdoms. Every 2 years, a kingdom would be chosen to open its doors to the world, allowing citizens from every corner of Remnant to meet and indulge in one another's cultures.
Nice.
The pinnacle
I like
of this
this
event
animation.
was the Vital Festival Tournament. After the newly formed Huntsman Academies proved to be a success, the Vital Festival Tournament was designed to test the strengths of the kingdom's warriors in a safe and friendly competitive environment.
Friendly with a
A
spike
wonderful
ball.
method in which to ensure that the
Nice.
world's huntsmen would never settle for mediocrity, but would constantly strive to become the absolute best they could be. As the skills of the huntsmen grew, so did the games. And in time, it was
Pokemon
decided
Stadium.
that the tournament would need a
Nice.
stage equal in greatness to that of its competitors.
Ah, that's so cool.
Legit.
Amity Coliseum was the culmination of the Four Kingdoms' efforts, a technological marvel and a shining symbol of harmony.
That's really
capable
cool.
of making the journey to all the kingdoms of Remnant.
Oh man, that shit got destroyed, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's true
Yeah.
that all of this began with war. But it is peace that has served to shepherd humanity on its ascension to greatness.
This whole thing is good. It's shedding a lot of light on the world.
Yeah,
for
for
me.
sure.
It makes it believable, like in Game of Thrones when they have all those little snippets about the whole world of ice and fire. This is
May we never
a well thought out
stray
world.
from that path.
For sure.
It also makes sense because in my mind, it's like, how does we'll call it a university or private school, private institution, like make Pokemon Stadium? Where does that money come from? You know what I mean? But it makes sense because if it was a collaborative effort, right? Exactly.
I think there's
Yeah, that's what. No.
Huntsman?
No,
There's more?
there's a few more.
Yay!
It'll stop at the
Tell
end.
me the things.
Tell me all the things. Like I didn't know Grimm.
Sorry.
Well, actually, I think I did know that they can get older and older and more experienced. Like
Yeah,
those
they were-
elephants,
they were the big
but
ones.
They showed the elephants and
And
shit.
it looks like they have like
Huntsmen
horns or
and
spikes that grow out of
hunters.
them as they're older.
The
Kind of
best
it's like that.
and
but
brightest
the elephants aren't
warriors of
violent
Remnant,
as
ranking higher
the ones
than
that this one
kingdom
depicted.
leaders and even military. In
They seem to
terms
get
of
bigger
strength
too,
and
right?
skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The occupation was established alongside the Huntsman Academies after the Great War, with the hope of creating elite warriors whose sole purpose would be to combat the creatures of Grimm. Beacon Academy was founded in Vale, Haven founded in Mistral, Shade founded in Vacuo, and Atlas founded in the now defunct kingdom of Mantle. These institutions accepted graduates of primary combat schools who showed enough promise and tenacity to not only battle the world's deadliest creatures, but also protect their fellow man. For this reason, trainees are grouped into teams,
Nice.
ensuring the continual development of communication, empathy, and teamwork. Traits that are vital to any guardian of peace. As an additional precaution to maintaining peace, the founders of the academies believed that their graduates should be kept separate from kingdom allegiance.
Okay.
Once finished with their training, huntsmen and huntresses are free to choose who they work for, as well as what kind of work they will do through the use of mission boards. Allying with a particular kingdom or village is entirely up to the individual. However,
Cool.
Atlas Academy has come under increasing amounts of scrutiny for the indoctrination of military lifestyle upon its students, pressuring them to enlist in the Atlas military's Special Operatives Unit.
Is that winter?
Every academy has its own methods of teaching, but the end result is the same. Huntsmen and huntresses ready to make their own paths. Some will stay together as a team, some will move on to work alone. But all are expected to serve humanity and never succumb to the darkness.
So you can protect a village too. You don't have to go to one of the four major
Yeah.
cities.
Yeah, that's cool.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool.
Neat.
Look at
And
Chibi
plus, they can
Austin.
always just call you when they need you. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Chibi
it's,
Austin.
give me a bat signal.
I'll call before I come.
just like
I won't just pop
like cross the road
over.
or
The
something else,
has
and they
seen
call you
hundreds
to
of
do something
technological
different.
advances that have changed
My cat
society.
is in a tree.
The most influential of all of them being the Cross-Continental Transmit System.
Whoa.
Prior to the invention of the CCTS, long-range communication was extremely limited. The discovery and development of radio technology allowed for communication within the boundaries of
We learned a
most
little bit about
kingdoms.
this in a few
But
episodes ago.
communication with other parts of the world was restricted to the physical delivery of messages. With every alternative form of communication that was proposed, there seemed to be the perfect obstacle.
Yep.
You have
The destructive
airships.
nature of the creatures of Grimm severely limited the reliability of ground-based technologies. The concept of relay satellites orbiting around the planet
right,
was
yeah.
promising. Unfortunately, modern man has yet to make the technological advancements required to achieve spaceflight.
Nope,
as
so
all
they didn't
known
destroy the
dust
moon.
types
No.
lose their power as they begin
That they
to
know
leave
of.
Remnant's
Why
atmosphere.
you use dust, but you can't go to
Eventually, it was the people of Atlas, the world's
think they'd
leader
be able
in
to burn a
science and
shit ton of
technology,
dust.
that developed the Cross-Continental Transmit System.
To be fair,
It
we
was
haven't been to the moon since
revolutionary.
the 60s.
Like
Yeah.
radio, signals were sent and received wirelessly. though the content of these transmissions were not nearly as limited. Audio, video, images, and text were all capable of transmission, and eventually an entire online web of information.
Nice.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's like the internet.
I was gonna say.
You got the
'Cause
cloud.
they have like
The
smartphones.
system is supported by 4 primary relay towers, each located within a safeguarded area.
Vecchio was very
of the
far
kingdom.
away from all the other ones.
These towers allow for wireless communication within a kingdom through the use of devices such as scrolls.
Yeah,
Signals
that's the
become less
smartphone,
reliable
scroll.
the
Yeah.
farther a user travels from the CCT tower. And although smaller support towers do exist outside of kingdoms,
like, come
they
on,
are
guys.
constantly at risk of destruction by the creatures of Grimm.
Look at this whole world they
Shortcomings
created, man.
aside,
This
for the
map.
first time in
That's the
history,
whole
digital
world.
transmissions
Back there,
between
a little bit
kingdoms
closer
were
to them over
possible
there, too.
through the
Wraps
use of
around.
slightly
Maybe,
more
yeah,
advanced
yeah,
devices,
probably.
typically found in
Yeah.
homes and CCT centers. The Cross-Continental Transmit System has and will continue to advance the progression of mankind. However, if one of the 4 towers is taken offline, the entire network fails with it. A slight inconvenience during routine maintenance, but to be honest, I find the limitation somewhat poetic. No one voice is louder than the others,
Fucking
and
Ozpin.
no voice may be silenced without the rest.
I don't know.
If the
That's
people
kind
of
of a
Remnant
shit
are to
theory,
speak,
but
then they shall
That's
be
why there's no
Yeah.
communication right now, right? In the current
Because, like,
season,
Or
like
not.
they're on their way to Mistral right now, I
Yes.
believe, and they have no way of contacting.
from a philosophical point of view, that is very lovely.
Yeah,
from
like,
a
very nice
practical
sentiment,
execution point of view, that's complete.
Who
shit.
made this?
yeah, exactly.
Like, why would you have all these points of failure?
It's okay.
Maidens next.
Because we have to have our characters can't be informed all the time. We have to
Yeah.
have them in the dark some of the time. Otherwise, it just wouldn't be as suspenseful.
Yeah, and it's cool that we're kind of exploring the world
Sure.
with them now
No,
too.
It's, yeah,
I
it's
love
neat.
it.
Yeah, I think these are really
Like
good.
so like I don't know.
Are these like Blu-ray features? Like, are these
This is like something special they came out with between the seasons, I think.
neat?
I could be wrong.
So
okay.
smart.
I don't know.
Yay, the Ford Maidens. It's like my
Yeah, this
favorite part.
is when shit got
In the
real.
forests of Remnant,
The
beside a
house.
great and mighty river, stood the small, fragile home of a cold, frail man, a
Aww.
lone wizard.
Maybe. Yeah.
Hidden from the dangers and distractions of the
talking
world,
about himself.
the wizard
Does
seldom
have white
had
hair.
visitors. But on this
Over here.
day, as he peered out his window, his gaze fell upon a young maiden.
A fine shorty
Calmly
sitting
she
next to
sat beneath his tree, in a state of absolute tranquility. When the wizard demanded an explanation, the maiden simply replied, "My name is Winter. I am on a journey, and I am waiting for my sisters." With that, she closed her eyes and sat in silence. The wizard told himself the girl was a fool, but the longer she sat, the more he wished to share in the serenity the young maiden enjoyed. In time, he grew tired and decided to close his eyes as well, thinking on this strange predicament. Upon opening his eyes, the wizard was befuddled to find that a second maiden had appeared beneath his tree, cheerful and spry, with a basket of fruit and flowers. When he asked for an explanation, the girl simply replied, "My name is Spring. I am on a journey, and I am waiting for my sisters." To show her gratitude for his reluctant hospitality, the girl retrieved a handful of seeds from her basket and planted them in the wizard's garden.
Let there be life.
Yeah, she brought the spring with her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Birds.
The old hermit could hardly believe his eyes as the maiden turned what was once a mere pile of dirt and
I
manure
didn't think I'd be
into a
hallucinating at that
beautiful
point.
garden,
Like,
for
what?
which life would surely blossom.
She built the gate and everything.
Yeah.
It's likely he
Go,
would have
girl.
gazed for
Yeah.
hours,
Right.
were it not for the unfamiliar laughter he heard from beneath his tree. A young woman with a warm smile now stood beside the two maidens.
She's Summer.
The
Probably.
wizard begged her to introduce herself.
So it's
which
sunburned
she
a little bit.
happily responded,
Yeah.
"My name is Summer. I am on a journey.
Didn't put enough
and
sunscreen
I am
on.
waiting for
That
my
was supposed to be my
sisters."
name. That's what I
Of
named Rena.
course, thought
Really?
the wizard.
Interesting.
That's cool.
But another chirp
Looks like
of
you.
laughter left the old man perplexed. What in the world was so funny?
I'm a summer baby.
As it turned out, it was him. The new arrival found the wizard's insistence on staying indoors so very amusing. Why choose to view the world through a small window when the door leading out to it was was right at his side.
Aw.
It was a compelling argument.
This is my favorite one
And
so
after
far.
only a moment
Ford
of
Maidens,
brief
yeah.
hesitation, the wizard left his home
They're one of the coolest parts about this show, period.
I'd argue the coolest, yeah.
and stepped outside. The warmth of the sun brought with it a surge of energy and life, and soon the wizard wasn't feeling much like himself anymore.
The wizard.
Summer baby, get outside and get fucked up, bro.
Yeah. Where is Fall?
He was feeling much better.
Oh, all these ladies for the wizard.
As the day drew to a close, the maidens and the wizard all settled down
That's
and
honey
prepared
ham.
a feast.
Yeah, that is a honey ham.
It's fall time.
Winter set the table.
Yeah.
Spring supplied the crops. Summer prepped the meal, and the wizard was the happiest he'd been in ages. But in all the excitement, he nearly failed to notice the delicate woman that now stood beneath his tree.
She's dead.
He's Super Bowl leg.
He smiled and beckoned her to join them, asking only for her name. "My name is Fall," she replied softly. "I am on a journey and am here to meet my sisters. Who are you?" "Me?" the wizard wondered. "Well, I am but an old hermit. I have lived in these woods alone for centuries, and I'm afraid my story is not very interesting, as I have no one to love and nothing to my name." The eldest sister looked up at all that surrounded them. "But sir, do you not see? You have so much." It was true. With their help, it was now clear to see that the wizard had everything he could ever need. He was grateful, but a question lingered in his mind. "Why me?" he asked. "Why did the four of you choose to open my eyes, to share with me your gifts? Why am I so special?" The four sisters looked to one another, perplexed. Finally, the eldest spoke. "I beg your pardon, sir, but we did not do these things for you because you were special. We do what we can for everyone, because we are able." The old wizard was at a loss. Never in his years had he come across such kindness. It was in that moment that he knew what should be done. The wizard summoned his magic, every ounce he could muster, and bestowed it upon the sisters.
What?
What did he give him? The ability to reincarnate?
This is how you fight double warming, guys.
Or really anything. If you are able, help.
Yeah.
He smiled. "Take this gift and know now that you are able to do so much more." Now, armed with the elements, the very powers of nature, and the unimaginable magic of the wizard, the four maidens, winter, spring, summer, and
That's so
fall,
sick.
promised to carry onward with their journey, using their gifts to aid others, just as they had aided him. One by one, the sisters left. Before they did, they made one final promise. They promised to return each and every year to visit their dear friend.
Oh my god.
That's really nice.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool, man.
Who was the old man?
Who was it?
Yeah,
Is it
right?
Osmond?
Yeah, I know.
That would be crazy.
Like the powers are obviously being passed on, so who's the wizard?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I wonder, because so he just amplified their powers. For a second, I thought he may have given them the ability to like keep manifesting with like transferring their powers to the last person that they love or think of. Not love, but the last person they think
But
of.
that happens naturally.
That's how.
You know what?
happens.
I gotta think it's Ozpin, and he's the creator or something like
Yeah.
that. Because he said centuries, and if he's the one who gave the maidens their magical powers, you know.
Damn. All right, now I think we're going into each of the kingdoms to deep dive. This is Vale.
You've got towns and villages that pop up as fast as they fall.
This is Crow.
Crow. Yeah.
You know he's the voice of Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
No,
Crow.
I did not.
I don't watch that show.
And each one's special in its own little way.
So cool.
It's a little way.
Vic Magnata or something like that.
He's too
In the
good.
grand scheme of things, Vale's pretty well guarded. Rests on the northeastern end of the world's largest continent, Suns.
He sounds so cool, man.
I couldn't.
Vale's survival over can mostly be attributed to prime real estate. The front is protected by steep mountains. The back is against waters too shallow for any real threat to pop out of. Not to say I haven't heard some crazy fish stories. Aside from the main city, which the kingdom's named after, the Vale territory also extends to several neighboring cities farther along
The Army of the Vale.
as well as a small island.
Sorry. Littlefinger vibes.
Place to raise a family, if you're into that sort of thing. Of course, all attempts to extend the kingdom's reach past the mountains and farther into the mainland have been colossal failures.
Right. The town or the city.
In the grand scheme of things, Vale ain't half bad. Regular climate, natural barriers, and some serious border defenses means the citizens of Vale can spend less time worrying about survival and more time just living their lives. Of course, with the fall of Beacon, everyone's a little more worried these days. And they should be.
No, thanks a lot, Crow. Ending on a very
Yeah, right.
dour note.
Yeah,
how he is.
I feel like I was gonna say that's like his whole MO.
Yeah.
Like his whole thing is just like shit's never quite right.
You
It's
know,
okay,
like,
but
might
it's
all go to
okay because
shit
it's
at the
never
end.
quite
Yeah,
right.
it's all
Pretty
pretty
much.
shit, pretty much.
Fucked pretty much, you know. But
I'm your uncle. I can
Pull
tell
out
you
his
shit
little
your parents
flask and
wouldn't tell
drinking
you.
his little flask.
And the cool uncle is gonna tell you how the world really works.
Right. AKA drunk uncle is gonna tell you why he hasn't gotten further in life.
Where were we?
Oh, there he's continuing.
The Easter's
Sound like he took a sip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
where were we?
He'd be taking
That's
hits
where
too
you'll
if this
find
were
the
MA.
kingdom of Mistral. Of the four kingdoms, Mistral has the most controlled territory, meaning you'll find a wider variety of ecosystems and lifestyles. Trust me, this place is something for everyone, for better or worse. The high society folks of Mistral are known worldwide for their contributions to fashion, architecture, theater, all the things
Japanese.
that make the world pretty and tolerable.
Kabuki.
But its lower
Yeah.
class has got a fame of its own. Mistral's home to the biggest black market on the planet.
Oh,
If something
shizzle.
that's hard to find, got someone that's hard to kill, they can help.
Oni mask.
Provided you've got to the end to pay for it. There's one common thread that links all these people together, though, and that's their respect for nature, particularly the sea and the sky. The natural resources and geography of the area impacted Mistral's culture and technology in a big way. Its first settlers found shelter high up in the wind-carved cliffs, and as their population grew, so did their ability to utilize the land to its fullest potential. A real bunch of forward thinkers. Of course, the bigger the kingdom, the harder it is to govern.
Yep.
There's a reason traders and thieves flock to Mistral. The main city's right under the council's eye, sure, but places like Windpath and Kuchinashi start to get a little farther out of sight. There's plenty of places to hide in Mistral.
That's where that's where Ruby and the gang are right now, right?
Yeah.
They're traveling to
Know
there.
where to look.
That is correct.
That is very like distinctively
What is this
Japanese.
cartoon? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say with the theater and cultural
Yeah, and
arts,
what they
yeah.
talked about being kind of like the first environmental nation. Like Japanese, they never really had conventional religious culture, so they equate being close to nature, being close to God. So they
And
were
the sea all around
kind of
them.
inherently the first, pro-environmental culture,
Yeah.
like
Nice.
nation, I guess. Yeah.
Nice.
Fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose it's time we talked about the fine people at the
They
top
still
of
wrap
the
everything in
world.
plastic, though.
And kill everything that lives in the sea.
Atlas,
Everything.
Remnant's youngest and arguably most successful
Atlas.
Youngest and most
king.
successful.
And
Case.
successful.
See,
Must be a
before
bunch
the
of
Great War,
millennials.
There was no Atlas. There was Mantle. At some point in time, a group of settlers were crazy enough to venture out into the northernmost continent of Solitas. I guess when you're that desperate, a frozen hunk of rock doesn't seem like such a bad place to call home.
Me.
As a matter of fact, the harsh weather conditions proved to be just as useful as the mountain ranges when it came to keeping the creatures of Grim at bay. It also kept the people of Mantle from flourishing. Humanity's got a neat trick up its sleeve, though.
Only the strongest
Whenever we're
survive.
faced with a problem, our inclination is to find a solution. The cold climate of Solitas forced its settlers to adapt.
Thus,
They developed a more advanced technology,
Yeah.
They did it faster than the rest of the world.
Makes sense if you're
Because they
indoors
had
more.
to survive.
Right, exactly. You have more time to spend indoors on endeavors like that.
New forms of dust application and weaponry allowed Mantle to expand. More and more
I guess the dust
territory
was
set aside
here.
for dust mining and research.
I think this is kind of like akin to oil mining in Alaska, northern hemisphere.
Alcius was the most opportune area to construct
The
a
one
new
place in Han
R&D
Solo.
facility. But by the time things were all said and done,
Talking about the Kessel Run.
much more. Alcius
We just saw
was
Solo. It's
reopened
fresh on our
as
mind.
It's a good
Atlas
movie.
after the
It's solid.
We enjoyed it.
to house
It's solid.
many of
Star
the
Wars.
warriors now
Yeah.
seeking guidance in an effort to give back to the citizens. Mantle applied all sorts of new dust techniques and technologies it had used in the war to beef up the Academy's campus. The school grounds expanded faster than they could have imagined. They even helped to better secure the surrounding areas. It wasn't long before the kingdom's military moved in, then the
Yeah.
labs and research facilities, and eventually even residential.
Maybe this,
Oh, that's
It's the schnee holes.
yeah. Maybe the building should be taller than the statue. Maybe.
No, the ego's gotta be.
Yeah.
So the
Sky
decision
high.
was
Korea.
made to move the kingdom's capital. Mantle was old news, and the kingdom of Atlas was born. A golden age of prosperity, they called it. But those left behind in Mantle would probably tell you that it was the coldest winter they ever knew.
winter is coming.
Yeah, something deep under the surface there with the.
It's
Cold
the
is
risk versus
winter.
reward situation. It seems to be like the
Someone
Arctic
fall.
nation, so it's like the risk of going there to mine for dust or what have you is higher, but the reward is higher because it's so much untapped like natural landscape. It's kind of
Yeah.
what it seems like.
Yeah,
It's asking us if we're still here.
I know.
Watch
We're
Sunlight.
still
Yeah.
here. Wait,
Are you guys still in these RWBY shorts?
where's Blake at right now? Is she in Vacuo?
I think so.
Cause like,
Well, she was in.
I don't know what that place is
On
called.
an
I can't.
island?
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
that
One
is called it.
kingdom
We'll
that's had
see.
it harder than the people of Mantle. It's Vacuum.
RWBY Samoa / Hawaii.
yeah,
The western end of Sanus is a barren and desolate wasteland. Long ago, before man went and ruined everything, it was a paradise.
As
In
always.
the center of the vast desert was an oasis.
So
unlike
true.
Anything you'd ever seen. A jungle bursting with natural resources, geographical defenses.
Well, it looks more like a desert.
The world's
Yeah.
largest recorded
Palm
deposit
trees,
of
though.
dust.
Oasis.
Nomads that survived the journey across the scorching sands settled down in this little hidden gem, and over time the kingdom of Vacuo thrived. Unfortunately, comfort breeds weakness. While the rest of Remnant had to learn and adapt in order to survive, Vacuo's ancient society kicked back and lived a life of complacency.
Me.
My man.
Other more developed kingdoms set their eyes on everything Vacuo had to offer. Its citizens couldn't do anything to stop them from taking it.
that's Atlas.
America and Hawaii.
I was gonna say some other places in the world actually.
Unrestricted mining and
I can say that I
ecological
live
Politics.
disasters have changed Vacuo.
Run
Just
review her politics.
Fucker. Citizens live in makeshift
One about to go off.
uprooted,
Fucking guns away.
You need to blame the British for that.
Motherfucking assholes I can think of right now. She's all.
After the Great War, a formal government was finally established. But by that point, the folks living in Vacuo didn't much care to uphold its laws, making Shade Academy the only real source of order.
That's
the kingdom
sweet,
with
like Mayan-style
organism
pyramid.
Zion.
Vacuo
Latin American
might not be as
pyramid.
grand
Straight up
as
Kukulkan
Khan
over here.
Three
Look
kingdoms,
at that elephant on the wall.
still
Hey,
standing.
Grim
There
elephant.
have a mutual respect for
coloration.
Fake.
That's a fake
Yeah,
ass
it's
text.
fake.
Yeah, we just
One
learned
thing we
that.
learned in there.
unspoken rule in Vacuo. If you can survive here, then you're welcome here. So there you have it. Vale, Mistral, Atlas, and Vacuo. You know, Oz would always say that the four kingdoms were a representation of what mankind is capable of when working together. Ever the optimist. We sure could use him now.
Yes, where is he?
God.
In the
Crows
sky.
is
In a little boy's body who
Hell
refused
yeah,
to believe
yeah.
if it's an old man living in him. Like, I'm gonna sit in my room.
Man, I
Keep
can't
telling
imagine
you, We
why.
need to go save the world, kiddo.
Can't imagine why.
Crow
Let's
is
see
sexy,
how many
though.
more we
He
have
is.
left.
Extremely sexy.
There's 3 more after this one.
Okay.
We're gonna do Faunus.
Yeah.
Faunus is next, right?
This one is called Between
Yeah,
Kingdoms.
Betwixt
Faunus.
the kingdoms.
Yeah, what am Faunus at?
Now you know more about the kingdoms.
Yeah, I do.
Between the big cities. Alright, the easy answer is Rim. There's no reason to beat around the bush. They're out there. And it probably won't go well if you run into one.
You can
That's
grab more
okay,
pillows if you need
because you're a huntsman.
I think I'm
Try to find some.
maybe.
Or hunt trap. And you've trained at one of the major academies, so you're probably fine. Just don't get yourself overrun by a pack of them.
Oop, she got Eid.
Now, after a long day of killing Grimm and saving the world, you're going to probably want to stop at a small town inn. Small villages dot the land between the major cities. You might ask, with the wilderness being so dangerous, why not just live in the big cities? Well,
Too much
that
bad
life
energy.
isn't meant for
It's expensive, probably.
These small towns are founded by people that have a problem with the kingdoms, or don't want to deal with the kingdom's problems, or maybe just enjoy the simpler life and would rather take their chances in the wild than in a kingdom. It goes about as well as you'd think. If the founders are smart, then there's a good chance these towns can survive for the same reason the kingdoms continue.
Yeah, like any ounce of negativity just brings more and more Grimm.
Oh yeah, I would not.
And you don't have a big city defense. People panic and then more Grimm come.
If you don't have at least a few of those,
It's like
then
Jujutsu
the
Kaisen.
chances of the
Yeah.
town lasting more than a year isn't great.
Oh, kind of. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not just the Grimm running around ruining towns. Wandering bandits are another threat. These groups of usually fairly skilled fighters travel the lands, never settling in one place.
It's the fighting
They
polygon
often prey
team
on
from Smash
conquests
Bros.
and goods between kingdoms. That's not all. These raiders will often wait for a town to be at its weakest, maybe after a Grimm attack or while its fighters are out
That's so
hunting,
shitty.
before finally
Yeah.
moving in at night and striking.
Always be some pillagers, man.
Jerks.
Pillage.
Bunch of jerks.
Worst
Straight
part
pillaging.
is, if the Grimm hadn't attacked before, you better be damn sure they will now. And you can't exactly have bandits raid your town without at least a few negative emotions. This is also why bandits never stay in the towns they conquer. With attitudes like the ones they have, Grimm tend to be pretty interested in them.
Oh, hell no. I am living in a small village.
Moving, they've got a
They're pretty
better
much saying
chance
it's a
to
death
survive.
trap.
Yeah, I'm going to be in one of the big cities for
Besides
sure.
these small towns, the areas between kingdoms really depend on the continent. Harsh deserts, icy tundras, lush forests, you name it.
Dope.
At this point, pretty much every inch of Remnant has been mapped out. Although there are some areas that no one's gone into and come out alive.
Oh,
Wow.
where? Talk about
Personally,
those.
I
The
would
red
live.
area, maybe? On the
Somewhere
east?
out there is where she is.
Yeah, the red area on the east.
Maybe they're talking
Salem?
about the villain. Yeah, Salem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would personally
You
live
know
like
what?
the wizard alone. But that's
Yeah.
just me.
You know what would solve the Grimm problem? Drugs.
Drugs.
Keep everybody
Because people
happy.
just mellow.
But then the one relapse. That's all it takes.
Everybody's taking their CBD, TB, or
Yeah.
CBD,
I wonder
THC
if
pills
there's
every
like
day.
a town that like keeps people on soma, just like
Yeah,
drugs
Soma.
all the time.
I mean, that's what. Yeah.
Don't you like your
that's basically
CBD
it.
cloud tea? Keeps the Grimm away.
Brave New World is a great book. Everybody, you should read it.
I love Brave New World.
Aldous Huxley.
Yes. My favorite.
In case you're not in the know, Faunus are
We did that for a
species
book club,
on
didn't we?
Remnant that
Yes.
appear to be human in just about
Navi did
every
that
way.
without me, which I'm
Every way
still
but
mad
one.
about.
Each faunus
Fucking
has a
asshole.
single
I'm just kidding.
animalistic trait, some more apparent than others. Ram horns, tiger claws, cat ears.
Oh,
I swear, on my huntsman's license, I once saw a guy regrow his severed lizard tail.
Nice.
I
That
swear,
makes sense.
no amount of drinking can make you forget that pretty picture.
Oh,
As far as everyone's aware, faunus have been around as long as mankind, if not a little longer. History gets a little
nice.
fuzzy past a certain point, but we do know that their kind and ours are completely compatible from a biological.
oh.
Oh.
Take two wolf faunus, and you get a little wolf cub kiddo. A wolf faunus and a human also typically means your little bundle of joy's teething phase could get a little dicey.
Oh
But
god.
if you take a wolf faunus
I wouldn't
and a
wanna
bull
breastfeed
faunus,
that.
for example, it's a complete you know you
Snake.
could be cleaning up your son's shedded snake skin.
Oh!
Oh my god.
Whoa!
Scientists are still scratching their heads.
Well
when
done,
it comes
well
to,
done.
a lot about
I was born in the year of the snake.
But science
Were you?
isn't the real problem.
Nice.
So old.
It's how we all get along. Or in this case,
I was born a year
how
of
we
dragon.
don't.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's so
We're
cool.
scared to death of the
Dragon's pretty good.
And honestly, it's
Aren't-
not
aren't
too
we both
hard to
snakes?
sympathize with that.
Are you 89?
Being something
Yeah.
that looks like you and acts like you walk out of the forest and reveal a pair of fangs can be a little upsetting.
Ugh.
I'm Year of the
Most
Rabbit.
things man doesn't understand.
Nice.
The luckiest of all signs.
This needs to.
Yeah,
He's
we're
a
old.
rat. I'm a horse.
Oh, he's a rat?
He's a rabbit.
Pushing them out of settlements and sometimes even hunting them down. Man began to outnumber the faunas. The faunas began to consider man nothing more than a hostile species.
Yeah.
Can't really blame them.
Yeah.
These clashes between species were unavoidable, as land that was safe from the Grim was in constant short supply. But it was the Grim that finally brought humans and faunas together for the first time. A village in Sanus fell under attack, and the only reason anyone survived was because the humans and faunas united against their common enemy. It was a step in the right direction, but it didn't fix everything. Once humanity learned they weren't so different from the faunas, they still used those differences
No
as an
shit.
excuse to exploit and alienate them.
Damn.
The treatment of the faunas
That sounds
differed
familiar,
around the
Rana.
world.
Mm-hmm.
Things wouldn't improve much for them until the Great War. Veil and vacuo against Mantle and Mistral. A war unlike anyone had ever seen. And when it was over, the world was desperate to find compromises that would ensure they'd never see the likes of it again. Faunas were awarded equal rights as citizens of Remnant.
Finally.
And as an apology, they were given an entire continent of their own
Nice.
to do with as they pleased.
So
Oh,
but
that's-
equal is
There
not a
were some
thing.
that saw this
That's
as
where she is.
just
She's not in vacuo. She's here.
what it really was. A slap in the face for
Damn.
a nation of sore losers.
Yep.
And so Menagerie was born.
I thought they actually
Menagerie.
respected them.
There's still faunas all over the world, though the fair treatment they were promised varies in quality from place to place. Menagerie
Yeah,
will
this is a lot
always
like
be
our
their
world.
safe haven. Here's the thing, though. You can only push and prod people so much before they reach a tipping point.
Yes.
And when you pack those people together,
White
it just
Fang.
makes it
White
all
Fang.
the easier for them to get organized and get even.
Woo!
White thing is kind of dope.
It is.
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, honestly,
A
bro.
rebellion group.
If I'm very prideful, and you know, from my country and everything, we'd probably be like White Fang for sure.
Because I'm not going
Makes
out
sense.
like that.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a slap in the face at the end.
Gave them.
So you're
You
saying
gave the faunas the 3 acres
Yeah,
you knew.
it's like the worst last
Move
name
off
ever.
some
It's the
continent.
worst last name.
Oh. Oh boy. Yeah, okay. I've got a few words to say about this one. Dust Company.
that's great.
Bunch of self-entitled, monopolizing SNOBs who only care about making a profit, no matter how many little people they gotta step on to make it happen.
Sounds familiar.
But that's just my opinion. As you
Phil
all
DeFranco over here.
Survival in the world of Remnant depends almost entirely on a crystallized substance known as dust. It powers our cities, fuels our machines, and gives us a fighting chance against the creatures of Grim. Which means it's extremely important. Nowadays, it's almost impossible to buy dust products without the Schnee Company snowflake stamped on the box.
Fucking
Snowflakes.
snowflake.
God damn it. There would be some snowflakes.
Nicholas Schnee was the son of a dust miner turned soldier, born just after the Great War. He found himself at the perfect point in history to take full advantage of the world's next industrial revolution. The kingdom of Mantle, soon to be Atlas, was in a transformative period. They'd found themselves on the forefront of technology, but realized they depleted nearly all of their natural resources to do so.
No shit.
That's where old Nick came in.
More red scarves.
To watch his kingdom become dependent on the aid of others, young Nicholas Schnee decided to spend his days at combat school. His nights working alongside his father in the dwindling time in between learning everything he could about anything he didn't know.
Okay,
The
okay.
kid had a fire in his belly. When his father died, he left his son everything he had. It wasn't much, but it was enough for Nick to set his plan into action. He left school, rallied all the men he could afford, and set out on an expedition to find a dust deposit that could revitalize his kingdom.
Just mined the shit out of everything.
He actually pulled it off. Fast forward just a few years, and the name Schnee suddenly meant something. Quality, affordability, trust. See, all those years spent in combat school were so that Nick could personally oversee every new expedition. People appreciate a man who's willing to stick his neck out for them. And it's how the Schnee Dust Company
So
earned
the days of Nick Schnee are gone now, I'm assuming. He was
Oh, for
probably like a
sure.
really
See
good
that
one.
nothing's coming to the furnace?
Yeah, that's
Menagerie?
bullshit.
Nick had started
Good catch.
a family that missed him, and his body was tired. Years of working in dust mines can have some nasty side effects.
Really bad.
And so enters Jacques Junet.
Ah.
Boo!
The family. Jacques decided to take the Schnee name over his own. He was a lot of words I shouldn't repeat.
He's one of those.
He was a cunning businessman.
Oh,
I thought he said cunt.
He was
Yeah, I was
most
waiting
importantly,
for-
he was a
well,
cunt.
He was the perfect man to run the SDC in his place.
Cunning cunt.
From a certain point,
Cunning linguist.
he was right.
Or a master debater.
Under Jacques' leadership, the Schnee Dust Company has become more profitable than ever, completely dominating the industry, but at the cost of the company's soul. Cheap labor, dangerous
Faunus.
working conditions, doing whatever it takes to destroy the competition. Jacques Schnee doesn't care about people.
He's
He cares about winning. That, and making sure he's got the best damn PR team in the world. The Schnee name still means something today, but as for what it'll mean tomorrow, well, your
He's the
guess
NRA.
is as good as mine.
Come on, Weiss.
Yay.
Take it over, baby.
Do it.
Bring the days of Nick Schnee back.
Call it,
Your grandfather.
call it Ice Night. back
But
out.
not technically
Nicholas.
grandfather. Yeah. Spiritual grandfather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ugh.
Last one, Gregor.
I think so. This is it.
All right.
All right.
Are you still there?
I we still here.
Are
We
you
here.
still there?
This is the longest one.
We love that.
This is probably gonna be an informative one though.
The great.
I have like a small headache right now. 'Cause it was like an overload of information.
It's a lot.
It was a lot, you know.
Great war.
I feel better though. Swashing over me.
Terrible name.
This is where the two kingdoms fought each other. Yeah, I assume.
Yeah. 2v2.
2v2. Yeah.
Itself
Sorry.
They were doing doubles.
around
Yes.
Do
Yeah.
those.
century
Half court 2v2.
might as well lump them together. And most of that tension was coming from Mistral. Territories rich with resources and safe from Grimm have always been in high demand. But the Emperor of Mistral had managed to conquer nearly all that Anima had to offer. Thanks in part to an unlikely friend, Mantle. The two kingdoms had formed an alliance. Mistral provided the small kingdom with goods unavailable.
Doesn't she look an awful lot like our main villain?
Yeah, she does look like Salem.
Yeah.
Mantle introduced technological innovation, as well as guidance in the settlement of Anima's cold northern territory. It was good, until it wasn't. An incident in Mantle led to a strange and unexpected decree. The abolishment of the arts and repression of self-expression.
Jesus.
The people of Mantle had come to believe that they would be much safer from the Grimm if they could simply keep the emotions of the masses in check. Given Mistral's strong artistic culture, many assumed this would be the end of their alliance. But they were wrong.
It is totally her.
Mistral complied, selectively, enforcing Mantle's wishes only in the outer territories, allowing the centralized powers to continue to live as they please. If you haven't caught on yet, Mistral's full of jerks. The people of Vale had a problem with this. Well, they had a problem with a lot of things Mistral and Mantle had been up to. Treatment of their citizens, use of slave labor, and their constant insistence that their way of life was what was best for everyone. Eventually, Mistral made the jump across the sea to the eastern coast of Semblance. The small islands and peninsulas in the area were perfect to establish a settlement. They were so perfect, in fact, that Vale had just begun settling the area themselves.
Damn.
I think we can all guess what happened next.
The war.
King Vale did everything he could to avoid armed conflict. Despite
Inciting
cries from
incident.
his people, he insisted on sharing the land with the settlers from Mistral. But to this day, no one knows who shot first. But what began as
Shot heard around the world.
two bands of settlers had suddenly become the first battle of the Great War. Mantle quickly came to Mistral's side. Battles were fought on both Samus and Anima. Villages were lost to both combat and Grim. And it wasn't long before
All those bad vibes.
Yeah.
going around.
Oh yeah, the Grim's gonna be coming through.
Up to this point, Vacuo had done its best to stay out of the fight.
Vacchio, they're not fighters though.
Having both already established
They're not.
So I wonder how much they even helped.
territory years before, promised to leave them provided they didn't interfere. Soon, those talks evolved. It went from don't side with them to side with us and you'll be safe. Vacuo did not much care for that. They came to the conclusion that if Vale were to fall, there'd be no one left to stop Mistral and Mantle from conquering them.
Good job, Vacuo.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Did what they considered to be the logical thing. They drove Mantle and Mistral out of Vacuo and told Vale they had their backs.
Yay.
I love their style. So the war raged on. Grim attacks increased worldwide.
Duh.
Yeah.
The battlefield this meant a temporary ceasefire in order to deal with the hordes of monsters before returning to fight it out.
Someone was just like, wait a minute.
Miserable back at home.
Maybe we shouldn't do
We're
this.
often helpless with their best warriors.
Ooh, that sucks. So many villages lost.
A lot of segments were lost during these years. Most were never reclaimed. Rations on food and dust were put into effect. Development of technology accelerated. Humans and faunas who fought alongside one another became closer. And every day, mankind grew more and more efficient at destroying itself.
We're good at that.
Still
It
remains
all
the truth.
ended in the Vacuo campaign. Mistral and Mantle knew that if they could take the dust mines of Vacuo, they would effectively cut off the supply of dust to their enemies.
Damn, did it end in Vacchio?
It was to be a final devastating blow to Vale and Vacuo. They were only half right. The King of Vale personally led his army into battle alongside the soldiers of Vacuo and decimated the enemy forces.
Woo! Woo!
Crowned atop his head and armed only with a sword and his scepter, he laid waste to countless men.
Damn, King Bobby B over here.
So dreadful,
Robert Baratheon, bro.
No hammer, but a sword this time.
Yeah.
it was the single deadliest battle of the war.
The Great War.
Legends of the greatness and terror of the warrior king were born that day. Historians will tell you most of these stories are nothing but grandiose hyperbole. Unusually violent weather conditions, combined with Mantle's unfamiliarity with the desert combat, are likely what led to such a high death count. But whatever the reasoning, everyone bowed to the King of Vale by the time it was over. The
Damn.
Great War had ended. The world was ready to live under the rule of Vale. But the king refused. The leaders of the four kingdoms met on the island of Vital, and it was there that they worked together
Vital Festival.
to form a treaty and establish the future of
Bro,
Remnant.
Vale's the coolest.
Yeah.
Territories were redistributed, slavery was abolished, governments restructured, and the warrior king, the last king Vale would ever have.
Wouldn't it just be so cool if we had like a United Nations, if you will?
Followers in command of each kingdom's school.
I'm
He would
surprised.
teach the world to fight.
If only the world was as simple as like 4 nations. That's it.
I got legit chills.
Nice.
That was amazing.
That was a good one.
Like we haven't kept our end of the bargain.
All right.
Who hasn't kept their end?
We? Is he talking about
the proverbial
About
we?
Veil?
Seems like it.
He is
it the
from
last one?
there,
Can I
right?
This was the
This
same
was
video.
so much fun, but over a lot of information.
It was a lot of ones. It was a lot of
So,
ones.
One that stuck with me the most, I think, is
The
Great War.
Maidens.
the Vital Stadium.
Oh,
its
yeah.
destruction, like knowing all this,
It was a
makes
symbol
History
it
piece.
so
behind it.
much more like
Yeah.
impactful, like so much more tragic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why. What's her name? Cinder. I mean, that's why Salem's ultimate plan was to strike there first, to like take their hope away from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that's like the big, huge symbol piece of all four nations.
sure.
And then you cut off communication, right? Because they destroyed the communication
Yep.
towers.
Yeah.
Now they
Communication
can't even
gone.
talk to each other.
Exactly. All you have to do is take down one. Apparently, it's like a
Yeah.
domino effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but Veil was like the greatest, I'm assuming, because they're the ones that the warrior king that
yeah, who came
decided
out and
not
kicked
to
ass.
rule them all.
Yeah, exactly.
Daddy.
Zaddy.
Yeah.
That's cool. I would like to see that. I would like to see that animated. That would be fun.
That'd be pretty big budget. We might get that towards the end of the whole series, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Have any of you guys watched the Game of Thrones extra? It's like narration, like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
The histories and lore videos.
Ygritte about like Beyond the Wall. I love her voice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
Ygritte, yeah.
Back beyond the fist of the
her
first man.
accent, yes, I love that. So
And the
much.
fens eat people.
It's so relaxing. It's so relaxing to listen to, even though she's like, and there's death everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's funny.
And she and Kit Harington are still a couple.
Yeah,
I think
they
in
are.
real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
The
They
bad.
do. I didn't know
Oh, they
that.
got a baby.
Did not know that.
Nice.
And so
Interesting.
does Sophie
I think
Turner
she's
and Joe
like
Jonas.
the prince
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
The prince that
Um,
was promised.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Everything that we learned today would be really good as like a guidance book to RWBY. Like then I hope this should be made to like a book, like a guidance.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a
book.
wiki.
Encyclopedia.
Yeah, something like that, like where you can just buy this and take it home.
It'd be cool if they
probably have it.
they put together like an art book or something that did. It's like how they Legend of Zelda and Mario and all these things now.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
have all these lore books that have
Mhm.
like the mythology surrounding the world and stuff. So it'd be cool if they like maybe crowdfunded it or something, or did
Yeah.
whatever they needed to do and like put all the artwork together in like a book and release that. That'd be pretty neat.
I like
Yeah.
the art style too. If that sort of book had the same kind of art style we
Or
were seeing
all of
here,
them. Yeah,
it's just fun. Like
Simplified.
contrasting colors. It's like simple, but it's like
it's
still
made to
pleasant
be
to look at.
easy to understand.
Yeah,
For people
yeah.
who don't really grasp maybe the whole
Yeah.
lore, like backstory of this world. It is easy with primary colors to kind of define like this
Yeah.
region, that region, kind of a thing. So,
I would
yeah.
say a lot of things stuck out to me too. Other than that, like with the Grimm taking over villages. I mean, that explains why like Ruby's gang right now just keep coming across villages that have just been fucked over or
Sure.
decimated.
Sure.
Because it just takes one little spark, and if you don't have the backing of a whole major city, you're gonna get overrun by Grimm. Because
like
what,
a
what are you
nation
gonna
or
not
something?
panic when you're being attacked, and then
Right.
it just festers
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
So it makes sense why there are only like 4 primary cities, I
Mhm.
guess, in
4
this world.
cities, 4 dust, 4 maidens,
Seasons.
4 everything.
Rule of 4s, yeah,
Rule
4
of fours
seasons,
is-
yeah. And then you have that, and you have the creator and the, I guess, antagonist of the creator. I don't know if it's the devil, the Dark Lord, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, it is interesting though. They didn't touch on that part at all.
No, because they don't. I don't think they really know much about
Yeah,
her.
well, it was
Maybe
also
she's just a really old Grimm. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like the 2 creators and like the whole thing was introduced in season 4, and I'm assuming this came in between 3 and 4.
Yes.
So they probably haven't
Yeah.
had one for that because it was revealed just at that point.
I'm wondering if it was a deliberate choice to have the voice actor for Cortana do the narration for the shorts, maybe as though she's the one
it,
telling the
or,
audience.
yeah,
Yeah,
from
exactly.
her
She's speaking
perspective.
from her perspective. Like she understands the world and she's kind of explaining it as it is.
Like those first 4, were they her? I couldn't
I don't,
tell.
well, a
What
minstrel.
made first 2?
Minstrel,
First
whatever.
couple, maybe.
yeah.
The leader of Minstrel, I mean,
She was
the
like, "We're
character,
gonna need
and they even did that creepy smile on on
Yeah.
the animation
The
of like
creepy
her.
smile, so
yeah,
little.
Yeah, it was. It was just like, "Nyeh." It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, all right, weirdo. Like she
Yeah.
literally forfeited her whole country and everything.
He's
And
like,
her
well, and
island.
these guys are actually jerks.
Yeah. So it I think that lends credence to she human or faunus before she was whatever. Maybe, like I said, she took the dust, which we learned in the very first video, and somehow imbued it into her body or something like that. You know?
She might have, because, like, that's what we learned. Honestly, this was so good.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack.
There's a lot of
details.
I enjoyed the Great War stuff at the very end.
It was like the detailed version of Crow's story.
Because you get all of it in the second hand through all of the character conversations. So you get allusions to all these things.
Crow's personality coming out a little bit, like I can tell you a lot about these guys.
Yeah,
I could listen to him all night.
Yeah.
Very good narrator.
No, this was good. We got to learn about like the families, like the continents, the dust, the schools, the fights, like everything and anything. The faunus, like it was faunus,
that's true.
So the wizard in the Ford Maidens story.
It's the best part.
That was cool too. If he was Ozpin, do we know the timeline now of the two brothers? This was the two brothers were there before the Maidens, correct?
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah, because they're not who created.
Between those.
Yeah. There'd be no Maidens without these guys creating what is us in life. And
also, I realized watching it that the new kid that has Ozpin, that hears Ozpin is
Otto is his name.
Oscar, isn't it?
Oscar, right?
So they will start with O.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something.
Yeah, I'm sure that's intentional. Yeah. From a writing perspective, I'm sure.
I don't know, because like we learned that the wizard's been like alive forever, basically, like centuries. Like, and I don't know, he's never like known friendship or anything until he like met the maidens and he gave them powers, and it just makes you think like that is Ozpin in a way. Because like he goes and teaches like other students, and I don't know.
Also the aura and semblance. Like semblance is like basically redistributing your aura, but semblance is unique to everybody.
So
we already know all
auras,
this.
It's kind
just
of
a thing.
Familiar,
like I guess Ozpin transcended the ability to use like his aura or willpower.
Perhaps like the whole reason he was like a recluse in the first place is because he had the falling out with his brother. Maybe that's what caused this gigantic rift, and he was just depressed ever since then. So he kind of was like he was a shut-in until the maidens came and restored his faith in the world, and then kind of a thing. So
I can see that, and that's why he teaches a school where he trains hunters and huntresses.
And if that's not nice enough, you guys should hire Dameron to work for this show. You guys missing.
Call me up, Ruby.
Yeah,
Rooster Teeth. Let's do it.
I would personally use.
Teeth,
So like we learned that you can use dust like in weapons or like in your body or like naturally or whatever.
Clothing.
Yeah, anything really.
I would definitely use it naturally.
It seems to be manifested in any ways. It seems like it's like depending on what you are. What you are.
Yeah, whatever you want to do with it, like it enhances your ability, your natural inclinations, I guess.
And all of these shonen animes and anime shows, it seems to be like everyone whether you use aura or ki or whatever, based off of what you are and what your, I guess, what is the properties of your powers?
Chi, I guess, energy.
Or your uniqueness or whatever.
Yeah.
Naruto was so special because of the techniques that he could use.
Yeah.
He was special.
They called it the Kekkei Genkai, which is like the bloodline technique. So like the Shinii family has their conjuring, their summoning, which is unique to them.
Exactly. And that's pretty cool.
It's interesting how that all pops up in different forms of fiction. You know what I mean? In some form or another.
I enjoy this though. Never have I seen the 4 seasons like personified before.
Never,
which is like seems like such a simple idea, but it's like it's a cool thing that they did. Right?
I love that so much because like it really gives like the like weather elements and climate like so much respect. And I think that's like if kids are watching it, it's like really good way to better than Captain Planet to like explain and like, hey, without this,
be careful.
Well,
without these like gifts that like all the maidens have given him and to us as well, like we wouldn't. Like what would we have? Nothing.
Even the example of how they showed up and like the vibe and the aura that they give off is just like, that was just really really beautiful.
Yeah.
And they just seem so
just
like
chilling, like
they seem, what is it? They were just subconsciously just being like great.
Yeah.
Like why? Like what do you mean why? We would have done this for anybody, bro. Sorry.
It's a very like Zen thing.
And they do like we don't recognize like what nature gives us until we don't have it. Like we don't appreciate water until we're thirsty. You know, like
until you don't have drinkable water.
Or like I love Ramadan because like when you can't even drink water like for so long, it makes you appreciate water so much, and like you don't realize that there are actually people in the world that don't have access to water.
Yeah. Or oxygen.
Any
more topical.
Any fast makes you appreciate everything.
Appreciate all that's around us.
Yes.
You don't have to have any fancy stories like they were saying. Just look at everything you got.
Yeah, exactly.
Good lessons. All right.
I agree.
we're going to move on, y'all. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad we waited. We were all together for this. Could all digest it nicely. Not like Discord, mute and unmute and all. So like this was cool to learn more about the world. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you all so much for watching this week's episode of RWBY. We'd like to give a special shout out to our super patrons, Misha, Sakib, Clayton Davis, Exploring Dylan, Dane, Mr. Momus, and Joe Mags. Thanks again and have an awesome weekend.